So remember some videos back that the oil pressure on this vehicle was really funky when it was cold? Yeah, that hasn't gotten any better. In fact, it's gotten worse. And I've had the timing replaced and the oil seal leak, and it still has gotten worse. Now don't let this fool you. That was from last night after I got home. You notice the gauge. You also notice the nauseating engine noise, GM nap, coming from under the hood. The oil pressure will steady out around 1500 RPM. And this keeps doing it until the engine starts to warm up. And then it'll suddenly be fine. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try replacing the sending unit first. But I honestly think this truck is on its way out. I can't afford a new one, but I guess I'm going to have to start walking or something. Walking 20 miles every day is not going to be enjoyable. You can also hear when there's no pressure, according to the gauge, you start getting the lift or not. I've been told by 30 different people, 30 different answers. A quarter of them say it's sending unit. A quarter of them say that the next quarter says that it's oil pump. Another quarter says, oh, the oil passages are just clogged. And the last quarter says the oil pump's bad and so are the crank bearings. So I'm going to try replacing the sending unit. The thing that perturbs me is that the gauge, it'll jerk. You know, it won't be, you know, gradual. It'll go, you know, typical of when a sending unit is bad, because my fuel gauge used to do that. It would just sit there, you know, like it is doing now, and just dong, right to the E, and where it would stay. You know, you go over a bump big enough and it'd fix itself. So, I don't know. We're going to look into it later today. I have to go downtown for a class. And we'll see what happens. See if we can save this truck or not. Well, my friends, here we are on day 2 of this oil pressure campaign. As you can see, we don't really have great pressure still. Less than 20. And it doesn't go that high. And we are at temperature. So I have about 500 miles before I need an oil change. I figured I'd do that now. I also have a feeling, I'll turn this off, have a feeling that the place where we've been getting it done, I think they put just regular 5W30 back in, and it's too thin for this motor. So I'm going to change oil once and for all today, so I know what it is in fact in there. I'm also going to put a new oil filter in. I'm going to install a new oil filter. Yesterday, I tried to replace the sending unit here, and I couldn't. Oh. Whoa! So I had a friend do it. There's the old sending unit. It broke when we were taking it out. But So the sending unit is not the problem because we still show low oil pressure. I did, however, want to point this out. We had to buy a special socket for that, to remove the old sender because it's too tall. Here's a regular, this is a 1 1/16 socket. Interestingly enough, here's a regular deep well socket. That's as far as that will go in. However, on the special wrench, it will go all the way in. And what I found out, whoa. I don't know how well you guys can see this. The deep well, the inside there is tapered all the way up to where you put the socket in. It's not. Additionally, you only have gripping ability right at the first half an inch or so. So that's that story. But the interesting thing is, there's a special warning on this socket. It says, warning, do not use while engine is running. Considering that we had to kneel on half of the engine to remove the old sending unit, I find this quite comical that somebody actually did this while the engine was running. I would have paid to see that. I'm going to drop the oil and see if that makes any difference. Well, my friends, it's not perfect, but it is better. I've also noticed that the lifters are a little quieter. So, I think we're still on borrowed time, but this didn't hurt. So, we'll try again, but I think the inevitable is this truck is going to die at some point, as I don't have the cash or the time to put a new oil pump in and crank bearings. So, I guess for now, it almost goes up to 40. So, I think, we'll let the oil settle in. Just keep taking her easy on this truck. The lifters are definitely a lot quieter, though. So, alright guys, thanks for watching. This just been a little update, and hopefully we'll figure out this problem at some point. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Have a great day.